ಈ ದಿನ ನಾವು 5ನೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿನ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಫಾರ್ಮಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ನೋಡೋಣ. This will be in English medium. We are going to learn something about farmers and farming. Class 5 has in its science a chapter known as agriculture. It's a big chapter, large chapter containing many information. So it has been split into two parts. Part 1 was already rendered in the last session. Today we are going to learn something about the agriculture in part 2. Your textbook has 94 to 110 pages. It has 34 images depicting various agricultural activities. It has 8 tabular information. It includes your exercises. I request you to read your textbook to understand all the concepts. The PPTs present today will help you to know little more than what is given in the textbook. Today we are going to learn meaning, interpretation of agriculture and its practices, especially in farming. The science or practice of farming includes cultivation of the soil for growing of crops, or it may be rearing of animals to provide food, wool and other products. Our country depends upon agri products to feed 130 crore people and all species of animals. Now a question comes to know who is a farmer. ಯಾರು ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಉತ್ತರ ಮಾಡೋಣ. ಎ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಪರ್ಸನ್ engaged in agriculture. That is, it may be raising crops or raising animals for food or for raw materials. So farmer is a hard working person who can help us to get crops or to get food from animals and fibers for our clothes. The term usually applies to people who do some combination of raising field crops, orchards, vineyards, poultry or other livestock. A farmer might own the farmland or might work as a laborer. A farmer promotes or improves crops or raises animals by labor and attention using sources available to him. So we just spoke about the farmer. Farmer is a hard working person who helps our country to provide food and also fiber for our living. Now farming is a part of agriculture. Today we are going to concentrate upon farming, especially of crops, that is plants producing food material for human beings and also for animals. Agriculture started thousands of years ago, but no one knows for sure how old it is. Development of farming gave rise to new ways of living people. They gave up nomadic hunting and became settlers and started cultivation, which is called farming. So farming refers to cultivating the plants, especially plants, which we are referring today, for the production of crops. Crops are the plants that we get food from the plants. Villages and cities became normal to live. That means farmers started working in villages. When once the villages have become more meaningful, then people started to moving to cities. So most of the villages today are having farmers doing farming activities. Farmers involve themselves in agriculture and its related works. Farmers working in the fields are of three categories: small-scale owners or farmers, large-scale owners or rich farmers, and farm laborers. All these three categories are called farmers. Small-scale farmers they may own a piece of land of their own. They sell crop, they grow in their field and earn money to lead life. They also face a number of problems. Small farmers face shortage of money to cultivate the land. As the land holding is very little, their earning is not self-sufficient to lead their family. Many times, small farmers do not get water for the land because of the poor irrigation facilities, and these people, small farmers, lack proper guidance to grow crops that suit their soil and fertility. Therefore, small scale farmers, who are more in number in our country, are facing a large number of problems. The next one are called the rich farmers. These farmers have large scale farming activity. They usually have large fields, agricultural land, in which they grow plenty of different types of crops or maybe single crop. In addition to the family members of the farmers, many others may help them in agricultural practices. Rich farmers purchase and use modern agricultural equipment which small farmers cannot do. They store grains in barns or warehouses and sell it when they get a good price or a better price. They utilize the monetary facilities given by the banks. Their income is high. They grow different crops. The third type of farmers are normally farm laborers. Farm laborers, they do not have their own agricultural land. They work in some other person's field to earn their living, usually on daily wages, maybe 300 to 600 rupees per day. They have no definite income. They live in poverty conditions. The agricultural laborers will be doing all kinds of jobs. They may be able to sow the seeds, or they may clean the field, or even they may plant certain things. So you see, most of the agricultural laborers are very poor. Most women folk work in the agricultural fields. In our country, agricultural worker is called a farm worker. A farm worker is a hired agricultural laborer. That means on a daily wages he will be paid. His income will be very low, and he will be involving himself in helping the rich farmers. He will not be able to make his own earning without doing work in the somebody's land. Farming is a part of agriculture. We told you agriculture includes many things. Now we are talking about farming here. Farming only of the crops. Agriculture started thousands of years ago, as I told you earlier, but we do not know how many years agriculture is old. Now, if you look at the types of farming here, there are three types of farming we can see in our agricultural lands. One is called intensive farming, in which a farmer grows at least 2 to 3 crops in the same land in 1 year. Whatever the little land he has, in that he will use all the possible facilities with him and grow 2 to 3 crops. He will not allow the land to become fallow. That means he will not allow the land to become dry. He keep on use one after another one. For example, if he grows jawar and next time maybe he will start growing ragi or sunflower. If he uses paddy in the first time, then immediately he will follow maybe jawar or sunflower. That means in the same land he will be using 2 to 3 times in a year he will grow crops. That's called intensive farming. Second type is called mixed farming. In this also, whatever the land a farmer has, he will use crops, that is food yielding crops like paddy, ragi, or oil oil seed yielding sunflower, or fiber yielding cotton, etc. In addition to that, you may also use especially fisheries. You may grow fishes in the same farm. For example, paddy field may allow fishes to grow. They may rear cattle. Near that place they may use poultry. They may use the same land for sericulture, like this. So in the mixed farming, farmers not only grow the crops, they also rear animals. Then another thing is called plantation farming. This happens where we have more rainfall. Especially today, fruits farming has become a fashion today. Vegetables are grown in nurseries. Coffee is grown in the plantation. Tea is grown in the plantation. Nowadays, flowers also has become, floriculture has become a very important area in farming. That means in farming, using the land and growing different types of plants is an important part of cultivation in our country. Uh, in this particular slide, I have shown more meaning of intensive and mixed farming. In the red letter, in the red color indicates intensive, and the purple color shows the mixed farming. Now let us look at the intensive farming, because in the examination they may ask you a question: what is intensive farming, what is mixed farming, and they may also ask you what is the difference between intensive farming and mixed farming. So therefore you should know little more clearly about intensive farming. Intensive farming uses higher level of inputs. That is, they use more labor, they use high fertilizer, using every inch of field or the land for agriculture. They take proper care, they spend more time and spend more energy also. So this kind of uh, agricultural practice in farming is called intensive farming. By doing all this, that means by increasing the inputs into the plant production, that will increase the output, that is the agricultural products will be more in terms of production is concerned. It is characterized by low fallow ratio. That means they will not allow land to become lazy. They will not allow land to go without any crop in that one. That is called intensive cropping. In the mixed cropping, as I told you earlier, a system of sowing 2 or 3 crops together in the same land. They sometimes may use sunflower, and also they may use horse gram. They may use cotton, they may use some other plant also. So 2 or 3 will be mixed together in the same land. Mixed cropping aim is to minimize the risk of crop failure. If one crop fails, another crop comes up. Normally, they choose plants which require less water. Seeds are mixed in mixed cropping and sown. Mixed cropping has no pattern of rows or no columns. It is pretty random. That means they may grow groundnut here, they may grow cotton in some other place, like that. They don't follow any systematic method as they do it in the intensive farming. Now there is another kind of information given in your textbook, that is Subsistence and industrial farming. Let us try to know what does it mean. Subsistence farming refers to an agricultural practice with a very small farmer. A small farmer may use his land to produce the agricultural products to feed themselves, their families, and they may not have enough production to sell, and that is normally called subsistence farming. They may have very little land, maybe 1 gunta or 2 gunta land, and they don't have acres of lands. Industrial farming refers to farmers having larger acreage. They may have 10 acres, 20 acres, or 100 acres, or 500 acres. In such a large area, agricultural practices goes on. In the farming, they may grow only one type of plant, like uh, paddy or cotton or wheat, whatever they like, whatever the soil conditions are possible. Such a farming is called industrial farming. They grow plenty of crops in that farming. Now, any kind of crop is subjected to damage. Damage is caused to crops by diseases like fungi may cause disease, bacteria may cause disease. Animals like cattle and sheep may eat away the crop. Birds like crows and other grain-eating birds may destroy the crops. Insects like grasshoppers, locusts, and other things may destroy the crops. You must have heard of locust, a kind of a butterfly-like insect that eats away the entire plant. You must have heard in Bihar, locusts have destroyed the entire crop, and farmers lose all the money. So therefore, farmers use treatment to the plants. They may use chemical treatment. They may scare away the bird by making sounds. They may use fencing to the crop. They may use manual monitoring, or they may apply different methods. That means protection of crop is also an important activity of the farmer, as much as he takes care of the plants while planting. He has to take care of the crops after the harvesting is made. When once the yield has come, farmer has to do a great amount of exercise to store the food grains and preserve them so that the crops will not be destroyed by pests or by insects or by diseases. They have to store either in underground granary called hagevu, or they may have to use different method. In modern days, there are granaries. Government of India has given them the granaries or storehouses, warehouses where storing is possible. So farmers will have to take care of them. In the examination, they may ask you to tell the methods of storing the crops. Try to read your book to find out more about storing of crops. Here I have shown you the latest ideas about farming. Nowadays, what's called sustainable farming is there. It is a designed way of farming, which I would like to tell you what is the meaning of sustainable farming. That means farmers will have to meet the needs of the society. Society means the the entire human beings in a small area or a larger area in the country. They may require food, they may require uh, fibers for the textile. All these are supplied by means of farming activity, and the farmers will have to plan such a way that whatever the field, whatever the uh, land available in India should not be lost by doing any other activity like real estate or by other activities. Therefore, they have to safeguard that. They should not compromise the agricultural land for many other things, because for future, that is in the next generation to come, they must have land for farming. If you lose the land, if the government gives away all the farming land to industries, then that will be a problem for the future generation. Therefore, today, farmers design their activities such a way that the farming is sustainable for future also. And also we should understand, we cannot do anything on the available land because the ecosystem may be completely destroyed. All these things are taken care by means of sustainable farming. You may have to list the number of problems small farmers face. There may be a question in the examination. I request all of you to take a piece of paper, think, discuss with your friends, and write down the number of problems the farmers may face. In this particular PPT, I have shown you that crops in Karnataka. You know, Karnataka has 30 districts and it has 4 administrative divisions, and coastal region is called Karavali area. These are all the Karavali area where you find the sea approaching this area. Malenadu is the place where lot of rain comes, and Bayalusime is the area where less rain comes or there is no rain at all. So these 3 principal regions are there. In each of these regions, different crops are grown. You will learn this more in your geography class. Here is a list of 30 districts giving you some idea of what they grow. Together of the 30 districts, wheat, paddy, sugarcane, orange, banana, grapes, rubber, tea, coffee, all these are grown in the areas where you have a lot of water facility. Ragi, Bengal gram, horse gram, green gram are all grown in the area where there is less rainfall. Areca, tobacco, all these are grown in Malnad area like that. So different plants are grown in different areas, but these are all the various crops available for our Karnataka in 30 districts. So they will ask you a question to list the number of crops in Karnataka. Please try to read your textbook and understand these things. I have taken some images from the Google network. I would like to thank all the authors for that. I request you to read your textbook more than what you listen to this PPT, so that you will be able to answer all the questions given in your textbook exercises. Thank you for listening to this.